Okay guys, so I just put the color on this hatch about 2 hours ago. It's still a little cool in here, so it's just a little bit tacky. It's not bad, but it's taking longer to dry because it is so cool. It's about probably 68 degrees or something like that, a little bit under 70, which I can put the color on as long as it's above 65. It just takes it a lot longer to dry, so I'm not worried about it taking longer to dry. The color went on great. The body work that I did, you can't even see it. I'm pretty good at that kind of stuff. I've been doing it for 20 years, so I never did the paint and body professionally. I did it as building my race cars and my show cars and all that kind of crap, so I'm familiar with doing it. But again, I've been painting for a long time. And repairing vehicles and other stuff and things for many moons. All I gotta do is put the guts back in it. Again, it turned out really well. It has very little trash in it, maybe just a little bit, about like that truck that I did a while back. But this is my wife's car. I'm gonna leave it up to her whether she wants to get rid of it or not. I'm gonna paint the whole thing. The car is gonna look brand new whenever I'm finished with it. I should be able to sell it for around $4,500, $45,000 to $5,000. I will disclose that the insurance company has totaled it, not because it was undrivable, but because they didn't think it was worth the money that it was going to take to repair the vehicle. The value of this vehicle was at Blue Book on this vehicle was $2,500, something like that. So they totaled it. I bought it back for I think $180, and then bought a hatch for, this hatch cost me $100. So it was $100 for the hatch. I think I paid another $100 for the rest of the parts, or $250 I bought all the parts. The paint is that, and there's my mess again, guys. It just, it's just no end to the mess. I cleaned my garage, as you can see. I've fixed the doors, painted the doors. I'm gonna paint the whole garage. I'm not gonna paint the ceiling. That's actually soffit material for the ceiling, so it doesn't get so hot in here. So the heat can rise through the ceiling and go out into the vent, so it doesn't get so hot in my garage. But yeah, this was actually cleaned the other day, just like day before yesterday. It was cleaned. But as you can see, it gets really messed up real quick. But anyway, that shop, I use this shop paint right there. That is a PPG from the place I buy. That's a PPG paint. Pittsburgh Paint and Glass is who manufactures that paint. That is an enamel, but I use a hardener with the enamel. So I use a fast-acting hardener, and it allows my paint to dry relatively quickly if it's not too cold like it is today. The last week it has been too cold to paint. It's been in the 50s, mid to high 50s, and that's too cold to paint. So today I got lucky. It got into the high to low 70s, and so I went ahead and put the color on it. Got it taken care of. It's all good to go. It just needs time to dry, and then I'll put it on the. I'll have somebody help me put it on the vehicle. What else? Oh, my paint gun. I remember I mentioned in my last video, I think, that my paint gun had taken a dive. And this is the paint gun that I bought. It's a Ming Far. It laid on great. I buy these cheap paint guns because, in my experience, DeVelvis or Velvis, however you want to pronounce it, I have had more trouble with those paint guns than I've had with these. I don't use, as you can see, I use a bottom feeder. I don't use the gravity feed. I use the suction type HVLP, HBL, high pressure, low volume paint gun. That's all. Well, it's not all I've ever used. I have used the gravity feed, but again, I ruined the paint job because of those guns, because of those gravity. I bought a brand new DeVelvis gravity feeder, and I had bought my wife a 1976 Nova that I restored. And I don't have any pictures of it, guys, or I didn't do any videos on it. Just something I bought, restored for her. And when I was doing the trunk on that thing, I was painting the trunk on it. One of the valves stuck on that gravity feed, and it just pissed all over the trunk of that car and just ruined that paint job. And that paint was high dollar paint. That paint cost me, just for the paint, was $200. So yeah, it really pissed me off, and I threw that brand new gun away. I bought that gun to paint that car. I threw that paint gun in the trash. I've never used a gravity feed since. I don't care what anybody says to me. You cannot convince me, and I will not ever use a gravity feed gun again. I don't care. So you do it your way, I do it my way. This is my result. There's no, piss marks on this paint job from a gravity feed. And don't tell me it doesn't happen, because I know better. So, what else? The doors went real well. All I did was skin this side. I just put skin on this side and then redid the boards on the outside. Completely rebuilt this one on this side, and it turned out great, man. I painted it, got it done. Again, I'm gonna paint my garage when I get time after I'm finished doing the boat and my wife's car. And I guess that's about it. I'm sure everybody's heard what Madonna said about blowing up the White House. You know, these liberals, I'm not going to get into a bunch of politics other than to say that, you know what, somebody needs to blow that skank up. You know, that's a great idea. Somebody blow up that skank that calls herself Madonna. That would make my day. So anyway, this battle for America, this battle for the ideology of America, from these sycophants trying to change America into a communist country, trying to open our borders to people that we can't vet, people that we don't know anything about, to just come in here and get benefits that they don't deserve, that they haven't worked for, that their families haven't bled for, that their families haven't worked for, is just, it's an act of war. As far as I'm concerned, it is an act of war against my family, against my country, to say that some Somali scumbag can come in here and get benefits because, you know, he's got something going on in his country. Sorry, I don't see it that way. As far as I'm concerned, the politicians that are driving this narrative to open our borders for this globalization are enemies of the United States of America, and they're committing acts of treason and acts of war against the United States of America. That's how I see it. And I'm not afraid to say so. So, I hope everybody has prepared himself and keeping ready for, stuff and things that may happen in this country, because it could get real ugly within the next couple of years. And I am prepared as much as I can be for whatever these globalists throw at us. So don't think they're going to stop, because they're not going to stop. If you saw Chuck Schumer up there crying like the sycophant that he is, with his fake tears up there crying because Obama wants to stop these psychopathic killers from coming into our country. Meanwhile, his other citizenry, Israel, builds 20, 30-foot walls all around their country, but can't do that in America. Why? Because they want to change America from a Christian nation to a nation that they can deal with. They can't deal with Christians. They've never been able to beat the Christians. They know that, and they have initiated an all-out war against this nation, against this Christian nation. And if you think they're going to stop, then you haven't been paying attention, because they're not going to stop. All right, so that's all I got. Again, this paint job turned out great. I'm going to paint the whole vehicle. It'll look just like this when I'm done with it. And my wife will be driving a new car if she wants to. If she wants to sell it, then we'll sell it and buy her something else. I'll leave it up to her. So, all right, that's all I got, everybody. Peace. Have a great day. I'm out.